It borderlines insanity, and I'll tell you why. These are the same women that professes to be Christians, Israelites, queens. All right, and like I put up about Cleopatra, they don't understand that queens cannot rule without a king. And if you just have a queen ruling, all right, then you're going to kill off that. That's the end. That's always the end when it's a queen. When there's no man to plant a seed, that's the end of that society as that society. All the queen can do is be absorbed by societies that have men. All right? And then once they absorb the queen, then she's no more where she came from. So when Cleopatra produced a child with Julius Caesar, she didn't produce an Egyptian, she produced a Roman. And the Romans knew it. That's why they wanted that woman burned in effigy. Alright? Now, so let's get into this. For you black women that watch my channel, you're not going to get it because you're foolhardy, you're stubborn, you're full of witchcraft, and you're full of rebellion. Rebellion is the same as witchcraft. Alright? What you choose to worship is demonic, which is why I call you demon worshipers, right? It's all about the seed maker, black woman. You're going to learn it the easy way by simply submitting, or you're going to learn it the hard way. You're already hitting the wall of silence. Alright? Isaiah 4:1. In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we shall eat our own food and wear our own clothes. Let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. Okay, so women are going to be sent to sing, not as queens, not even as queens of the damned. They are going to be seen as something disgusting. And the only way they are going to have anything is if they can find a man that will claim them as a wife. That's what they mean by let us be called by your name. That man will say, yes, that's one of my wives. All right. And it'll take the stench off of her being a single black woman. Right now, single black women are now seen as disgusting for all the stuff that they rooted and brought into the community. Right? Isaiah 4:2. In that day, the branch of Yahweh shall be splendid and esteemed, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent, comely, which means beautiful, for the escaped ones of Israel. Escaped ones. That is those of us that has escaped the matrix, so to speak. All right. So it should be splendid for us. This is why it says 7 women shall lay hold of one man, asking. It doesn't say that he would accept. It said that they would ask. Right? It didn't say he would accept. Now, given that these have been rebellious women, stiff-necked women, hard-headed women, women who wanted to be gods, women who wanted to be worshipped, women who thought that they are the ones that should be worshipped. All right? Understand this. Women that thought that they should be worshipped, that they should be queens. They should be queens without a king. Right? That they should be queens first. A woman is never a queen first, and then you get a king. That has never worked. As a matter of fact, women who have become queens, when they died out alone. Why? Because, like Cleopatra, women that want to be queens are power hungry. They don't care about right or wrong. They don't care about the people. A woman as rulership is shows the weakened state of the people. A woman as the head of the house, as the ruler of this house, shows the weakened state of the family. The family is now open to predators, like the kingdom is open to the neighbors with stronger armies. See, kings and rulers lead armies. When a man that is a king sees a woman leading an army, that woman was decimated. In no place in history did women ever defeat armies. Oh, these women have fought, figure out, oh, this woman fought a battle and stuff like that. Why do they go out, pick out bits and pieces? It's because that society never survived. That society never survived long enough to be remembered. It was absorbed by societies that were run by men, that had rulers that were men. See, to fight and to protect, that's a man thing. All right, now, this is how much of a man thing it is. Numbers 1 and 16. These are the ones called from the congregation. Congregation is a group of families, not a group of people in that are not families that decide, well, I'm going to split from my husband or wife and go to this place and stuff. These are the ones called from the congregations, leaders of their fathers' tribes, heads of the thousands of Israel. And Moshe and Aaron took these men. Who? Men. What? Men. Who were called by name. And they assembled all the congregation together. What? They assembled all the congregation together. Of what? Men. On the first day of the second month, and they declared their ancestry by clans, by their father's house, according to the numbers of their names. From 20 years old and above, each one head by head. Who? Men of what? Their father's house. Who? Their mama's house? Nope, their father's house. Who? The mama queen that don't need no man? Oh, they better not have shown up. Here's the thing. When you claim your ancestry, you have to know who your father is. Your ancestry is passed through your father, not your mother. What the white establishment did is they put it in black women's head that it could go from mother to mother to mother to mother. Why? Because in the absence of a male, that's the only other way you could do it. Why? Because black women have created a bunch of bastardized children in the black community, not knowing their father. And it isn't simply not knowing their father. A bastardized child is one who does not grow up in the presence of his father. So that's two. They can know who their father is, but because the woman takes the child and goes elsewhere, she bastardizes that child. When that woman takes that child and take that child to another man and decide to become a wife of that man, then she has created an abomination within the family of the house of Israel or Judah or Yehuda. Period. And this is why. A woman, if she's going to leave, that child needs to stay with that man to be raised by that man, is because that is the seed of that man. When the women decide to do things under the laws of the oppressors, and that's what the white people here are in this government. It's an oppressive government. Why is it an oppressive government? Because we are still slaves here. Why are we slaves? It's because we are not the ones making the laws. We are following the laws that are being made by the people that brought us here into captivity. You understand? Now, Numbers 1 and 19. Now, finish what I mean by that. As Yahweh commanded Moshe, he registered in the wilderness of Sinai. All right. Now, it's all about the seed, right? So the people that brought us over here into captivity, who still have us in captivity. How do you know? Because they set the laws of whether we can leave, what we need to leave, and whether we can leave on our own or not, right? But it's all about the seed. It's all about the sperm cell, and that's what I mean by the seed. All right, without this seed, you cannot create no child. So for all these foolish women that think they're queens, that they the mother earth, that everything came from us. Nope, everything came from a seed. That's like an apple tree sprouting up and then saying all fruit came from the apple tree. That it didn't need no seed to become a tree. That's foolishness. All right, so the black women are seen as shameful entities basically because of this. They're seen as stiff-necked and hard-headed. Now, for the brothers, again, this is a warning. Warning always comes before destruction. Right now, we're going to have overall destruction, and remember, it said the escaped ones. Some of us are going to escape this destruction that the Most High is going to meet on this land, because it must die. It is coming up with all forms of abominations. It has taken worship from the Most High and the black women try to come into that vacuum to seek worship. They want to be queens. In 1 Samuel, the 8th chapter, we're not supposed to and stuff. Why? Because the Most High hid the word in our heart so that we might not sin against him. All right? But some lack understanding. I was in a discussion with a woman yesterday, and I said something. I'm trying to remember exactly what I said, but she came up with a good point. I said, you don't want to pay attention. She said, it isn't that I don't want to pay attention. She said, I wasn't taught. And I said, ooh, good one. Because I know she wasn't taught. Because I know how she was raised. I know who raised her. Now, the question is, would she listen to somebody that is willing to teach her the right way? And again, now, she recognized she wasn't taught. But then, the question is, did she want to be taught? Did she want to remember? Did she want to know? And that's the problem. Most recognize they haven't been taught, but then they don't want to learn either. And that's the problem. It's all about the seed. How much so? That in Numbers 1 and 22, from the children of Shem on their genealogies by the clans, by their father's house, not their mother's house, by their father's house, not grandmother's house, not Big Mama's house, but by their father's house, of those who were registered according to the number of their names, every male head by head from 20 years old and above, everyone going out into the army, the males, the head, the fathers, the rulers of the house. Each man is the ruler of his own house. Anytime a man is not there to rule the house, then the house is open to everything evil that decide it want to come up in there. That's why you see a lot of boyfriends living in mama's house. All right, they ain't no good. They don't have no place to live. They get with the daughter, and now the daughter and the boyfriend is living up in mama's house and making babies. And some of the time, the boyfriends is getting it with the mama and the daughter, which is also a sin. Look in Leviticus. That is not right. That is against the commandments, right? But not only do the mothers not care, but the daughters don't care. And because women love to choose these thugs that ain't about nothing, they don't care. The thugs don't. Because that's a thug. He don't care. That's why I don't make videos about thugs need to get their act together. They don't care. This is for the righteous, or this is for the ones that turn on my channel and they're going to hear. This is the warning. Warning comes before destruction. And this is the warning for black men to get it together, for black men that have it together to not get caught up in the web of these witches and demon worshipers, which have now become the modern day black women. More truth is known to us now than our ancestors knew post-slavery. The ancestors during slavery knew a lot of the truth, and they didn't follow Christianity in the way that you think. They didn't follow, and they weren't brainwashed by the church in the way that you think. The church had to brainwash them to get rid of their traditional ways. All right? In order to weaken the family, because the family was still strong even in the midst of slavery. The black family was still strong. The black family was still strong all the way up into the 60s. It became weak when they told the black woman, you don't need no man. Unite with these white women in feminism. All this was run by the CIA, which I showed you the video with Gloria Steinem and Miss Magazine. Then we want you to bash and trash your black men. Now, what bashing literally is when you say a whole bunch of negative things about people that aren't true. Now, I'm not bashing black women, because everything I'm saying is true and verifiable. It's so verifiable that when they make a comment back on what you said, you can see by how they speak to people that it is the truth. That they have become a bane of the family's existence. All right? Now, Ecclesiastes. Let us hear the conclusion of the entire matter. Fear Elohim and guard his commandments. For this applies to all mankind. Who? All mankind. So why were we chosen, Yehuda? Why were we chosen? We were supposed to be the light to mankind, to reteach mankind. If you notice, everybody follows our lead. Was gone around the world as far as music, entertainment, dance, dress, culture, came from us here. Everybody is taking the negative and positives of our culture and applying it to themselves. Because we are the beacon. We are the light. These people aren't following the white men that's making these rules. These white men are going by force and forcing people to take on their religion. They're forcing people to take on their abomination. Obama, he told Mugabe and them, and he told people in Ghana, he told them in Zimbabwe. He says, if you don't take on our homosexuality policies, we will not give you aid. That's a threat. That isn't like, oh, because homosexuality is better for mankind. You know, the destruction of the family, the destruction of children. You know, the depopulation of man. That's what homosexuality is. The depopulation of man. All right? Now, so you got these women that are set up, that got a bunch of young people to follow their movement. These are a bunch of lesbians. All right? That says Black Lives Matters. All right? But what they did was, when people were shouting Black Lives Matter, they hashtagged it. And then George Soros gave them seed money so they can own it. All right, now that they owned it, what these women did is they subdued the true movement that were fighting for justice. All right, and turned it into a movement that was really fighting to create all kinds of abomination within the household of the black family and a black community, to destroy it utterly. The work of demons, that's what these women are. All right, and for those that think I'm playing, I'm not.
What does the word queer mean to you?
Queer is, to me, is an umbrella term that incorporates folks who are outside of the heterosexual norm and the what we call heteronormativity, which is a big word for relationships. Marriage is just between a man and a woman. It's the patriarchal family as we understand it. What's important to us in Black Lives Matter is that we are elevating and cultivating the leadership of folks who have not been included in the conversation. That includes Black trans women, that includes Black immigrant women, Black disabled folks, Black incarcerated and formerly incarcerated people. So to us, right, we're really trying to queer our movement. We know even in our tradition and our legacy of Black liberation that queer and trans folks have been in the leadership, however, have had to kind of cut pieces of themselves off because it wasn't acceptable. Baird Rustin being an incredible example of that. Audre Lorde being an incredible example of that, right? We want to create a different kind of movement culture. We think it's important, we think we need it, and we don't think that we can survive without it.
So I hear that and I think, fantastic, the more the better.
So when she hears about it, she thinks fantastic. The more the better. All right? But they don't want more. They don't want better. Guess who else they don't want? What you see coming up in the background. Yes, Black men that's about something. Black men that's about being the rulers of their family. Black men, they want them eliminated from the family structure completely. You can't have two masters. You will love one, you will hate the other. Isn't that what the scripture says? All right. And so they created a dichotomy where the Black community is fighting for who's going to be the master over the Black community. Is it going to be the Black men or is it going to be gay, lesbian women? And not even the gay men. Because here's the thing. Such is the wicked state when these Black women raise these children to be abominations. They so strip them of their manhood. And Black women do this with pride. They strip all their manhood out of them, that they are weaker than the women trying to be men. So when gay men go into a movement like Black Lives Matter, there's no way they're going to be running that movement or be in charge of the decision making. Who is? Is going to be the Black women that's going to be out front. But when these Black men here, these strong Black men that raise families, these Black men that's ruler over these families, when they are in a movement, first of all, they're not going to be in a movement like this. This is why you don't see men like Al Sharpton in it. This is why Michael Eric Dyson, he's not in it. Cornel West, he's not in it. They'll talk about them. They'll try to give them kudos, but they ain't a part of that mess. Al Sharpton don't have nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. He'll talk about them on his news clips. He'll pump them up because he's liberalized. All right? If he was a liberal, then he would care about the rights of Black men. Right? They don't care about the rights of Black men. And Genesis 3:16, it says to the woman, he said, I will greatly increase her sorrow. And so her sorrow and her conception. Right? So, wait a minute. Has anybody ever really read this? He gave her three things. He said to the woman, I will greatly increase your sorrow. That's one. And your conception. That's two. And your sorrow, well, two things. And your conception, bring forth children in pain. So she's going to have sorrow and she's going to bring forth children in pain. Oh, and 3. Her desire is for her husband, and he does. He didn't say he shall. It's a command. He's telling the woman, your husband, he does rule over you. He does. He didn't say shall. He's telling the woman, because you have done this, now your husband does rule over you. Period. All right? Period. So where do we get back to? It's all about the seed. All right? Without the seed, you can have no conception. Without the seed, you can have no conception. All right? So, there is an onslaught to prevent good men, worthy men, from planting seeds inside the egg of black women where they can grow strong, healthy children, a nation, a community, soldiers, spiritual soldiers, soldiers that black men can teach the history to, soldiers that could prevent evil from coming up into the house. All right, what are the many ways they're doing this? They're getting black women. This is Juanetta Gibson, y'all. They're getting black women to put good black men in jail over fake charges. At the time, she claimed fake rape and got $1.5 million from the community and the school system and spunt it before she was 26. At the time she did that, she didn't have sex yet. She was a virgin. That means they didn't do a rape kit. Had they done that, they would have found that this man, Brian Banks, who she put in prison for 10 years, robbed him of an NFL career, robbed him of 10 years of his life that he wasn't going to get back, robbed him of a college career. Oh, he with a white woman now. This man won't touch a black woman with a 10-foot pole. Why? Because a bunch of black women did this to him. That's Juanetta Gibson and her mother. Because remember, he was 16 at the time. She was 15 at the time. Nobody backed him. No black women backed him. You know who got him out of jail? White men. Oh, wow. Did I just curse? Yeah, white men got this innocent black man. Not black men. White men, the Innocence Project, got this black man out of jail. So I'm not saying there aren't any white men that don't do good for black people. I'm saying that the white system is corrupt and is run by the white men who brought us over here as slaves. And we are still slaves. It's because it's the white man's rules that we are under so long as we're in this country. Until we have a place of our own. And the Most High will have to deal with that. Right? But he was put in there for a crime that never happened. Brian Banks was put in prison by Juanetta Gibson. But he's not the only one. All right? He is not the only one. This happens all the time to good black men. And it doesn't happen to black women like it happens to black men. It takes a little more setup for a black man to do it to a woman. A black woman could just say something. CPS comes along and boom, there it is. All right. The other way they're doing it. Black women are messing with 80% of black women are messing with only 20% of the population. And that's where they're producing these 70% of children that don't know who their daddy is or not being raised by their fathers. Now, 70% of the black men are good, 68%, and they take care of their children. They try to be in their children's lives. But the problem with the 70% is on average, they have about 4 children. So let's take the number 7 out of 10. All right, 10 being 100%. 7 represent the 70%, right? The 30 represents the 30% of the thug, which includes the prison population, which includes the men that with the income under $10,000 a year, which includes Pookie and Ray Ray and them. Okay, which includes Ralph the Super Thug, which includes Home Skillets. All right. And Bebe, because you know Bebe had a bunch of kids. All right, includes all of that, right? That's the 30% of the population, right? The 70% of the population are having on average, and this is conservative, the good men, they're having on average 4 children. All right. So if you take 4 times 7, and this is very simplistic so that you can get the picture. If you take 4 times 7, these men have on average 28 children. All right. So 4 times 7, let's say 28 children. If you take just 2 of the 30% that's left, take 2. Now, you've been hearing about all these thugs having 21 children. They're making the news, right? But most of them don't make the news, and most of them have about 21 children. Got a guy at 52 still at it with females that want no good men to produce the children by. All right? So, the average dude that ain't doing nothing, that don't have nothing going for themselves, and make under $10,000 a year, they have 21 to 30 something children. One dude in Tennessee had 44. All right, so let's take the conservative 21. All right, so you take just 2 of those dudes. 20% out of that 30% left, 20% of that out of that 30% left, well, not 20% because 30% is left. Okay, so 2/3, right? But you take the last 3/10, the last 30%, and you just take the 2 guys out of there. They produce more children than all 7 of the good guys put together. So the 7 guys have 4 children on average that they pay their child support. They're in their children's lives and stuff on average. Yeah, that means some have 1, some have 2. All right, and these are the men that have children. And then you take the other guys, and they have pretty much 20 children apiece on average. They by themselves outpace. All right. And then if you bring in the third guy to add the whole 30% and bring his 20% in, come on now, think about it. That's 60 children to 28. That's how you get it where 70% of the children are not being taken care of when they're being produced by only 20% or 30% of the population. Actually, it's 32% of the population. All right? Why? Because the black women's new god is Beyonce, or that image. That's why they have the fake eyes, fake hair, and stuff. Black women will kill a child out of convenience, so much so that they've killed more children than AIDS, violent crimes, accidents, cancer, and heart disease put together and almost double. Oh, and this was as of 2010 or maybe 2004. Oh, and it's increased since then. In New York, they've killed more children than they've had. All right? Now, new HIV infection, black women consist of 13% of the whole female population, but they're responsible for 64% of new HIV infections. All right? Because it's all about the seed, but black women think it's all about them. It's never about them. All right? This is how it has to meet. You can't produce children by yourself, right? So what black women do is they go and get this guy. So this woman plus this guy equals this. All right? So this, if you look underneath, the children on the left equal the black women have more children in poverty than any other race of women. Not only that, the worst place for a child to grow up is in a household of a single black mother. That's what that statistic states. See that? See the stuff in pink? You got the white people in blue, Hispanics in green, and there you are in that brownish pink, whatever you want to call that color. That's the black woman. She just edges out the Hispanic women who don't know how to speak Spanish, which is why she's in her predicament. All right. If you look on the other chart, black women, more black women die of AIDS than blacks, and this is heterosexual women, than heterosexual men. As a matter of fact, where are the heterosexual men getting it from? They're getting it from the black woman. The black woman is getting it from the bisexual and homosexual men. Yes, the black women are paying or using the homosexual men, their friends, as sex tools. When they want to get it and they want to get it from a man, they will use a gay man to get it. And this is why the statistic is here. And they know he's gay because they hang around him. They know his boyfriend. See, black women are into to a whole bunch of wickedness. Why don't I speak of black men being in wickedness? Because black men call out other black men that are in wickedness. And the black men that are in wickedness don't call their wickedness good. Black women, however, defend other black women that are in wickedness. They tell people you cannot bring out the wickedness of black women. All right? So, you get this. You get this woman saying anything else would be a step down. How is anything else a step down when the black woman is so wicked? Even being alone and not being in the presence of the modern day black woman is a step up. It's hard to find a good one. So anything else is pretty much a step up. When you look at the ratchetness that has been caused by the black woman. Why? Because anything else that is going to follow the commandments as the black man leads them is a step up. All right? What I can't understand is what makes a black woman think that they can shame good black men into being with them when they've done so much harm and neglect to good black men. They have ratchet behavior. They have made it shameful for a good black man to be with them. They have made it dangerous for a good black man to be with them. They have made it too much of a risk for good black men to be with them. Ezekiel 23:9. Therefore, I have given her into the hands of her lovers, into the hands of the Assyrians, for whom she lusted. Why does the Bible compare nations and everything and sin to a woman? Because of what it says in Genesis. Her sorrows, right? Her treachery and her witchcraft. A woman's witchcraft is worse than anything that men have ever done. 23:10, they have uncovered her nakedness. This is the white man to the white black woman in America. They took away her sons and daughters, slew her with the sword, and she became a byword among women. And they executed judgment upon her. They is going to be as black men, and we are like the wall of silence. It's like us speaking out. We are now executing judgment upon you, because when you decided that you wanted to be the leader of the family, you have allowed the state the system, the white man to come in to take the minds of our sons and daughters, to corrupt them utterly. You have caused them to not know the Most High at all, and not only not know him, but to not even want to learn about him. Period. So it is time for judgment on the black woman, and she's going to be judged at the hands of the thugs, and the thugs in turn are going to be judged by her hand and the white men, and the white men are going to be judged by all of that. See, this is how the Most High work. He's going to have the evil judge the evil. But I'm here to tell you, people, that it is going to be bad before it becomes good. But it will be good for the black men that escape. Because what you didn't understand in that scripture, it said that the women, 7 women will latch on to one man. It said 7 women will latch on to one man. That means a lot of single black men are going to escape this, run from this, get out of this matrix. Black women, you are going to be such a byword that we're not going to want you. And because you're going to be such an ugly stench of a byword, the black woman is going to be, the only way for her to get honor again is to take a name or be seen or be claimed by a black man for him to say, yes, that is a wife of mine. She has my name. She is under my authority. I rule over her. Until that happens, black women, you are going to be seen as sorry, and black men, you are going to need to be aware. They are becoming too much of a risk. If a black woman can't follow the Most High's commandments, then she's not going to follow the man. With that said, I'm out.